My name is Kala, Arvind Kala. Ever since Mr. Modi came to power 9 years ago, I've been fascinated by his body language. And in the last couple of years, I've noticed yet another change in his body language. Whenever he gives an election speech from behind a lectern, his finger is always upraised. Now, always invariably when he talks, it's his fingers like that. No, he never did that earlier. And what fascinates me, that this raised finger is a universal sign of a school madam disciplining children who are 8 and 7 and 9, because that's the only language you understand, and it's a universal language across the world. Every teacher tries to command respect this way, because children are fidgety and they're uneasy and they leap around, etc. So it's a way for the teacher to say watch it. It's a kind of a warning. Now, when you address an adult audience, this becomes slightly offensive. It becomes like a school teacher. Mr. Modi is a school teacher or a school monitor or a very strict principal disciplining people. I mean, Mr. Modi doesn't realize it because he doesn't have any body language expert to guide him on how the world sees him. You see, my image should match the image that the world has of me. So Mr. Modi doesn't realize this. When he raises his finger up, it's like that. It's very what do you call it becomes an admonition that you watch it, or I'm all it seems like you're lecturing to a crowd. So this curiosity about his upraised finger led me to study the behavior of other prime ministers, whether it's Boris Johnson, whether it's Donald Trump, Biden, James Cameron, many others, Reagan, Clinton, everybody, last 15, 20 presidents, etc., etc. And I never find them with the raised finger. Their behavior, this thing is inclusive. Now, one reason why Mr. Modi does this is that he's got a very bad lectern. His lectern comes right up to there. And in among Western leaders, the lectern ends there. So you can see his entire upper body. But in Modi's case, you see his beard, you see his face, and you see the upraised finger. So now, when these people talk, they talk like this. When Trump talks, he'll say something and he'll point like this. Now, there's a very great difference between two fingers and one finger. One finger is a finger of reprimand. Two fingers is inclusive. When you point it out like that. And, their hands are like this and like this, etc. But Mr. Modi's finger is always upraised. Now, I don't understand this, and it's always. But that Mr. Modi has always done something which is unique. He has one peculiar desire. He wants to be unique in the world. That explains his hugging of world leaders. Now, no matter where world leaders meet, they shake hands like men do, and they pat the other guy's forearm. I'll pat the other guy's forearm, and that guy'll pat my forearm. That's how all leaders meet. But Mr. Modi, who never smiles in India, never hugs, doesn't even shake hands in India, and he goes abroad and he's got a radiant grin, from ear to ear, and his hands are raised like this, and he envelops the greeting leader in a bear hug. Now, that kind of bear hug and warmth and that radiant smile you reserve for close friends or close relatives when you're delighted to see them and they're delighted to see you. No, Mr. Modi is meeting, whether he's meeting an African leader or an Arab leader, it's like this, he gets off from the plane and he's expansive and envelops the other fellow. Now, he's known as the hugging leader of the world. Why? Why does Mr. Modi do this? There's a simple reason. He wants to be unique. He wants to be the only leader in the world who hugs other world leaders, because no other fellow does it. Nobody from Japan, nobody from there, nobody from nowhere does it. Now, there is there's a violation of personal space. He's hugged Trump, he's hugged Putin, he's hugged French leaders, etc., etc. And all those people dread his hugs. They don't like it. They want to be hugged by some cool, voluptuous female, not by a, bearded Prime Minister of India. Then another thing, I mean, about his clothes, he's the only guy who wears churidar pajamas, those leg hugging pajamas. Nobody in the whole world wears it. Now, the second thing is, let me come down to his occasional turbans. Now, two societies where turbans are worn are Afghanistan and Iran, which are ultra orthodox Muslim. And the Khomeini is always in a black turban like this, going around, and the Afghan this thing is in a white or a black turban, but it never varies. But Mr. Modi's array of turbans, they reach scores, dozens and scores, maybe even hundreds. So he just wants to be known as a very flamboyant dresser, and a different kind of a guy, etc., etc. Now, a nation's strength does not come from the antics of his and the acrobatics of the leader. It comes from economic strength. It comes from military might. It comes from how well your people are doing. You're doing well in health and education, and social reforms, and how well you're. That is what counts. But Mr. Modi gives disproportionate importance to these things, to his appearance. But, the world doesn't give a damn. I mean, 40% of India's children under 5 are stunted and malnutrition, These are Indian reports themselves, 40%. Which means 4 out of 10. That's a huge percentage. So all that people get to know, the world gets to know. So no matter how unique Mr. Modi may try to become, it doesn't work. You need military might. You don't need a flamboyant leader like that. Having said that, but Mr. Modi will not listen. He will not listen to me because I'm a nobody. Now, nobody is a lovely word. Nobody means that I'm so inconsequential. I have no body. That's why it comes from nobody. So, he doesn't listen to me, but I could teach him quite a lot. And, he's surrounded by sycophants who don't tell him, if they spotted, what I can see and what I'm saying right now, which is a whole lot of sense. Now, Mr. Modi, I'm sitting around in Garhwal, the poorest, the Hindu citadel of this in my ancestral village. For Christ's sake, please don't take offense. I'll leave my friends. Please forward this to everybody you know. All right. See you later, alligator.